I can tell you this, don't ever set up 8 stoves at once and expect to make a decent hamburger. Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. So I've got an accumulation of stoves here I can't believe. I'll go down here and show them to you. I'm making hamburgers. I think we have 7 pots, so we're going to fry 7 hamburgers at one time. And I know that's an unusual stove test. So we're also going to do boiling 1, 2, and 4 cups of water, I think. So we'll have boiling times, which is really what most people use. We're trying to give you all the information we can. This is not a very scientific. We went out to thrift stores and bought used pots. So we have, each stove has its own pot, because man, how long would it take me to boil water on each one of these things? I'd spend the rest of my life doing it, and I don't want to do that. It's not going to be a completely scientific experiment, because you can see here, these two are very different sized pots. This one is it's got a really heavy base, and so it will be very different than one that is very thin. This has also got a very heavy base, so they're all going to be different. But we're just doing the best we can. That's all. Okay. Let's start at this end, and we'll go down one by one, and I'll show you the different pots we're using. This is a Sterno Inferno. We're going to test Sterno, and it's intended to be like this. So you would boil up 1 cup of water. Why doesn't that match? I don't know. So normally you would put the Sterno in the Inferno like this, light it, put this on it, and then this would probably work reasonably well. Sterno's not a very good fuel, but that's what we're going to find out. But this won't cook a hamburger, will it? We'll use it for the water tests. So we're just going to use that like that, and put the cook on that. And then you all know about jet boil. They're famous. This is when there's no question. There's not any debate about it. When it comes to the test, that the jet boil will be the fastest on boiling water. It'll blow everything else away. But that's not all you buy a stove to do, is it? You want to cook other things. So we're going to cook a hamburger as one example. But maybe you want to cook a grilled cheese sandwich. You know, you want to be able to fry on this thing too. Or pancakes. Maybe you want to make pancakes. Pancakes are cheap, and if you get whole wheat flour, they can be healthy. So you want to be able to do everything. You don't want to just be boiling water all your life. You will boil the water a lot, especially to clean with, cook with. But and then we'll just set one of the stoves on top, and we won't use that. And here we have a standard butane with a butane bottle. These are very, very, very popular. A lot of people use these, and for a lot of good reasons. In the description, I will give you an Amazon link, and that will give you the current price. And this is my Coleman 1-burner propane. I've been using these for years. I'm in love with this. This to me is the perfect cooking device. It's a little bigger and bulkier, but we'll test it out too. Now here we have come to wood stoves, and there are a lot of advantages to a wood stove. Fuel's free. I mean, these things are really expensive. This is $5. So yeah, it boils really fast. But how will it cook a hamburger any faster? Will it cook a pancake any faster? I doubt it. I mean, it just takes a certain amount of time. What works is because of this special design for boiling water. This is an amazing technology involved here. But how long will it take to make a pancake? And you may want to make pancakes or a grilled cheese or a hamburger. Sterno I think that's not going to be very cost efficient. So, but all these costs, you know, the cheapest you can get a green bottle of propane anymore is probably $3. And if you buy one in the middle of nowhere, you can pay $5, $6, you can pay $7 for one of these. Fuel will add up. But these 3 all burn wood. And wood's free. Look where I am. Look at this tree. Here's a dead tree right behind me. There's enough limbs on that tree to cook with for the rest of my life for free. And so, you know, you maybe want to consider wood. We went out and just collected this much wood. This is enough wood. My goodness, how long will this last us? We'll burn this forever, and this took 2 minutes. It's free. It's a little harder in the desert because there's not much wood to collect in the desert. What you may want to do is collect a bunch of it and break it down as small as you can and take it with you into the desert, and then you may just have to buy it. So we'll move on. This is a rocket stove. I'm sure you're probably all familiar with it. It has a very heavy insulated base here. The idea behind it is all the heat is funneled into coming out right here, right on your pot. So it should be the maximum efficiency out of the wood you collect. These rocket stoves are really well known and really popular. This one is made by Stove Tech. This is their lowest model. It only has the one door and there's no lid on the door. The better models, a model above this would have two doors, one underneath and a door that closes. That would allow you to simmer. There's not going to be any real simmering on this. You start a fire and it's flames coming. Simmering is always an issue with these, so if you want to make pancakes, it becomes a lot harder on a wood burner. This is the Kelly kettle. Some of you are probably not familiar with the Kelly kettle. It's from Ireland. I think it literally is from Ireland. It was made by some Irish fishermen. They're really famous in Ireland for fishermen. They take them out on their boats to boil water so they can have hot water. You know how miserably cold being out on the water can be, especially in the Atlantic Ocean. So this is the base. You feed wood in through here. And this is the chimney. I'll take that off. Make a big mess. You can see that how that is empty. Well, this is a double hole. So there's an inner hole and an outer hole, and you actually pour the water into here, and it sits in here, and when the flame goes up, it just completely saturates the water. This should boil really, really fast for just a little bit of fuel. This comes with a stopper, red stopper. This must never be on while it's cooking. Of course, it could blow up, literally. So this always has to be off. You pour the water in. That sits on top. I bought this as a kit. This is one of the biggest and best. And then it comes with a little pot. I don't know how well you can see it. There are grooves here, and so that holds it on there really well. Comes with one of these pot handle. Okay, and then finally we come to the Solo. Now my friend and assistant KC owns this stove and uses it. Let me show you. The ring sits on there, your pot sits on top. This is the pot that Solo sells you, and you can see the real problem with wood stoves is the soot. So it's a nice unit, and it all nests together, right? This all nests down into one spot.
Yeah.
Really, these are well known and really popular. Solo makes a alcohol burner so that you have the choice with this to drop the alcohol, and of course this is how you buy alcohol. Alcohol, stove fuel, denatured alcohol. You can get this stuff anywhere. Walmart sells it, Home Depot, any hardware store sells this denatured alcohol. So it just goes right in here. So think of this as a dual fuel, wood or alcohol. And because we're frying a hamburger, we have to have a bigger pan. I'm not familiar with any of these stoves. This guy's done. That stammer's doing really good. We couldn't make the jet boil work at all. It was a failure for this test. I just don't know how to use it. But at the same time, should I have to know how to use the stove? I think you have to have its own frying pan because that would just suffocated it. Well, now that this is turned on, we didn't have it turned on before, it's doing really good. This one won't cook because we're suffocating it. I don't feel any heat. It's not even cooking. Normally you're not going to be trying to cook 8 hamburgers at once. This is doing really well. And of course I have no real control over it except keep feeding wood. You use thumb-sized pieces of wood. So that's about my thumb-sized. And you just push them in. It burned the one through already, so I've been adding them and I've been pushing them forward. I'm really pleased with this one so far. Yeah, that's way too much fuel. I added an extra 2 sticks. And so I think that's how you would control the heat. These are things you would learn, and I don't know any of them. This is the first time I've ever done any of this. So the alcohol has been a real success. It just works nice and steady. I didn't light it. It went. I didn't see it. That's the problem with the alcohol. All of those fuels like that. This one I can't get a good steady heat. This one's odd to me. Of course, those two are perfect. You know, there's just butane and propane. You turn them on, you light them, and you control just like you would at home. They're easy to cook with, but so far, the alcohol is easy to work with because it's a nice, steady, even heat. It's not going up and down. It just is. It's just fine. They're done. So, what are my conclusions? Having cooked each and every one of them, one meal, my first meal. We'll start down here. Well, this was a complete failure because you can't set something on it. It's designed to work with this. So you can see if I put this on here, it would get all kinds of good air. You know, it wouldn't suffocate it, but the pan suffocates it. So I didn't know that. We don't know what we're doing. This was a failure because you can't set, that suffocates it and it goes out instantly. Maybe they make their own frying pan. I bet they do. Or I bet they have a lid. Then it would work fine, and it would be the fastest and best of them all because this is a fantastic system. Butane, propane, superb to work with, period. You can control the flame, it's steady, it's even, simplicity and ease. This is much more expensive than that. The bottles are a little bigger, a little heavier to mess with, but they are really super simple. And I can hook this up to my bulk bottle, and then it's so much cheaper that there's no comparison to cost. Butane won't work at below freezing. If it were 31 degrees, it wouldn't start. There is a point at which propane will stop flowing. I've never reached it. This would be a good cook stove. Burns nothing but wood, burns it really well and efficiently. I really liked this. It's a huge thing. You got to consider that. It doesn't simmer well. You'd have to learn how to simmer it by how fast you push the logs in. Didn't like this very much. It's weird. I don't still know what's going. I never really saw flame in there at all. So the solo and the alcohol is a really good combination. It ran out. I would have fried one hamburger with it before it ran out, and I tried to do the second one, and then it did run out. And I didn't know what I was doing. Had I known what I was doing with any of these stoves, we could have made them all work and work well. But this is, I'm impressed with the Solo, and I would recommend the Solo as a dual fuel stove. When you're in the forest, use the wood. When you're in the desert, use the alcohol. If you want the controlled even burn, use the alcohol. Comes with a complete kit. Really nice setup. Okay, thanks a lot. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, like us on YouTube, share us on your social media, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later.